political platforms of insulting government and driving the anti-establishment sentiments.
I've been informed that the scope of this medical ventilator that's being funded, and as we saw also in the presentation from Mr. Banda, who's part of the team, it's a top-notch design that is using open source equipment and other proprietary developed systems by the team that have been working on this. This is what we expect from university lecturers, researchers, engineers, and the intelligentsia. We are tired of seeing universities being turned into political platforms for insulting government and driving the anti-establishment sentiments. That's not their core mandate. That's actually just misuse of the platform that the universities may have. This right here, what we're witnessing, is what the universities are meant to do. What University of Zambia is doing today should not be a one-off and should not only be done when we're faced with a pandemic. I'm calling on the university communities, the researchers, the intelligentsia across the country to wake up so that we don't wait for another pandemic for this type of interventions to be given to the people of Zambia.
And UNZA Vice-Chancellor Professor Luke Mumba, who received the check on behalf of the institution, says the grant will go a long way in accelerating the development and testing of 3 physical prototype ventilators.
Honourable Minister, I am confident that the grant will go a long way in accelerating the development and testing of 3 physical prototypes based on a low-cost mechanical ventilator design adapted for local manufacture by our local team of experts. Through efforts like this one, we are able to expand the project scope and improve on the designed prototypes. I should take this opportunity to also mention that there is also another team of experts within UNZA TDAU, which is developing other innovative COVID-19 focused technologies, such as a special wheelchair and a simple to fabricate mist sprayer walk-through sanitizer. All these technologies need support from our partners and industry as a whole.
And NTBC Executive Director Dr. Chitundu Kasase says his institution, whose mandate is to facilitate the transfer of suitable and appropriate technology to Zambian industry, will not hesitate to sponsor innovations that have the potential to elevate the country.
I'm requesting for support toward the, coming up with these 3 types of medical ventilators. On your behalf, Honourable Minister, we did not hesitate because we saw this as a novel cause, and we went ahead to seek necessary approvals. And today we will be awarding to UNZA 100,000 voucher towards enrollment of these 3 medical
The University of Zambia is expected to deliver the prototype in the next 3 months. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV.
Lufunsa District Commissioner Judith Chama led a team of forestry and national park officers on a joint random patrol over the weekend. During the patrol, 15 trucks laden with timber and charcoal were impounded. According to information received from Zanis, the district commissioner expressed disappointment at the level of the deforestation resulting in the country losing the much-needed forestry. Here's a report.
Rufunsa District Commissioner Judith Chama led a team of forestry and national parks officers on a random patrol over the weekend along the Greatest Road and in some outskirts of the district where they impounded 15 trucks loaded with charcoal and timber. Mrs. Chama expressed disappointment and concern that there was drastic cutting down of trees in the district and that government was losing a lot of revenue from the illegal sales of forestry resources. She urged the departments of forestry and the national parks and wildlife to continue with such patrols so that wildlife and forestry is protected to mitigate on the effects of climate change.
The past 2 days we've been carrying out night patrols, so that we can control the indiscriminate cutting of trees for charcoal. They are cutting trees for planks, logs to be taken to Lusaka. These people, they do not want to follow the normal channels of paying, so that they are given permits to either buy charcoal or buy planks. So confiscated all these trucks here until they pay the required charges. We've confiscated over 15 trucks. I just want to commend the officers from Zawa who accompanied our officers from forestry, who have been doing a commendable job. I pray that they continue so that the government doesn't lose the revenue.
And some traders said that they were not aware that one needs to pay for a forestry license before dealing in forestry resources.
It's even cheaper, 450, 40 kwacha 50 ngwe per bag. Muzira sichonje, but sibufuna. Mfuna ma shortcut. Oh. Unayamba litukuchita malazi. Na kunyai muzira.
Sito wanatuhimiza sikusebenza, hilo pesa katwatenga kaloni manje aliniko bana palipa beba pesa na.
During the same patrols, District Commissioner Chama also took time to sensitize travelers on the coronavirus and to ensure that they wear masks in public. Reporting, I'm Msekiwa Ntembe.
The civil society organization CSO Sun, a non-governmental organization that looks at food and nutrition, has called on government to create an environment that would help families survive during the hardships brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. Organization Country Director Matthew Muhuru says the basic needs and nutrition basket of food and nutrition has been increasing since December and has added pressure on families. We have the details in this report.
Just the fact that, the basic needs and nutrition basket is out of reach for most households, and food prices also being on the rise, then this is a very, very difficult situation that, even when the government decides to conduct an assessment to really see how, just the nutrition performance of the country is, you would realize that the cases of malnutrition, have actually increased in the country, and all the gains that Zambia has made in reducing the high rates of malnutrition from 40 plus all the way to 35 would all be lost. So this is work that would, be achieved over a period of about 10 years for Zambia to really make any significant improvement in nutrition and just reducing the malnutrition cases from over 45% to 35%, and then you get to lose all of that just within a very short period of time, all because of COVID and just other conditions that have brought just the food and nutrition security of the country in a very negative state. So what this calls for, especially at household level, is that households have to now start looking at foods that are local, foods that are readily available, foods that are richer when it comes to nutrients. So, and if people really live life as normal, then a lot of households will be negatively affected. If they are looking for foods in the supermarkets or other places where they have to buy expensive food, then all of that stuff would not work for them, and the populations would actually be put in a worse off situation. So we're actually advising the nation to really look at just the local foods and the local vegetables, and if they can also go back to having a small garden, the backyard gardens. I think this would be quite important, because this period really calls for innovation and just thinking outside the box so that people can survive when it comes to issues of food.
In another development, Makeni Villa residents have called for financial assistance from the government due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. The closing down of many companies has caused panic to local people. reducing their sources of income. The residents have also called for free distribution of hand sanitizers, face masks and food. Here's a report.
The closing down of many companies and the imposing of social distancing as well as travel restrictions have become the new normal during the COVID-19 pandemic. All of this is having an impact on the nation's income. Many families are finding it hard to make a living because of the breadwinner halting from work. With this in mind, Makeni Villa residents have called on government to assist them financially. Since Zambia has received a number of donations from many organizations and countries, other residents have called for free and fair distribution of face masks, hand sanitizers, and food.
Now the problem is that our husbands they don't work. So men drama zogula ne sanitizer, mask zizachoka kuti. Now program yao ngatinamvya tungo na boera, but some areas kona matenga mozi areas. Some of us go follow up ever since the net program number timambera chad. So tipempa konise ntebara ba bomba bonsi.
Timvera tibafolesa mu matauni mu market tibafolesa vosamba kumanja vovala pa makamwa bati muno mukombo ntisaficho sapati sitifola 6 to 6 ni pamene pano pado kudoka mene nienda sanitizer nzaito sapati tochingirira coronavirus nzaficho sapati kulibe noti kusanka mwamene bapereka basanka ma places iya baende mukati kakomboni ndisa mechi mafunika ja time yo vote so baziti kongera futhi na mwamene muno batifolesa tonse nisebana.
Unfortunately, the area member of parliament was not available by press time to give a comment. But what we know is that following preventive measures given by health experts is the only way to slow down the spread of the virus. The sooner it comes to a halt, the faster the families can recover financially. Maurice Zulu, Camnet News, Lusaka.
We still have more news to come. Camnet Television, not just another channel. But for now, we take a break.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my Big Bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing Big Bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Thank you for still staying with us, but we continue with the news. In a development story, a group of men and women who claimed to have been promised jobs by the government have continued to gather outside the China Aid construction site at Mulungushi International Conference Center seeking employment. Those interviewed said they have been meeting at the same spot from as early as 04 hours till late without being offered jobs. Efforts to get a comment from China Aid management proved futile by broadcast time. Here's a detail.
Tabwera pano kuchoka mu December. Tibwera pano kufuna nchito. Baitankala bo embekeza disappointment yabatichita ni yauti. Basi ya kungenesa wadonfano bana chita promise utizange na nchito pa gate hapa. Bambo tenga bantu wakuchoma. Kukatete. Kuboda kumwami boda ni kutali. Batisi ya isapa trigone 6 to 6. Stikudia. Tichoma na njala the whole day bati wana ma ministers bapita batu baba kala bati wana. Baba ati kulibe chime chitikako. Tina bakonka ba minister ba honorable ba boman lo sambo. baba namvera nkani naleta tina badropera kuja nkani bayiziba but banatulekerera tili balizi kuno tisoba navo chita so manje bafuna tichite bwanji tichipwanye chikapena ndipe bazazwa kuti bantu bavutika huko wewe bachita so bantu balekerera bantu but ndife tibavotera bantu ako nichani muchita so emwe bantu ba president lunkapene mumvya muti mvere tadandala kuna njala zati paya muliko mulangana so wewe muchita so kanse Mungu yangana chepa mamimba yanu nanga ise sikuti ndimwe mweka muri mu Zambia munoti mukambe vindu viviche buno ife mdati danda we ndife bambiri kuchira imwe bamene muri pando vandu bamene yangana ni bambo titaba zikazi mu manyumba kamba kanchito njala
ngati afika pano 05 twisa fyo kwa bulo kuli apo nangu fimo ngati afika pano manja abantu bambo kuli atupepeka nemfuti manje twarabo mbashani twaraza maro twari umwe fikoti twa manje twarafu ashani ndarama iro bapangire meeting mukati mubala ndatama youth bapurusika twarasangwane nchitomanje kwamba December up to now twarashita shani ngatafika pano 05 ukufumako kukombokera pamona bena 18 hours 02 fumako anga twafumako na abali mukati umunishi baleshita mukati na tuisha tamaroreko yali manje bena nga balebomba balera mukati ifo tukabomba shani tukabomba pesa aba balefumyoko babafumya kukatete kukabwe kuisa baingira direct manje fama chances twara kwatashana bapose kwa mano kale twambo kuisa pano
awe ise chamune tidanda wala ko tabe tifuna ko nchito like monga ise tebenango ndise masingo mothers tina babana kumanyumba so tibwera kuno kuchoka kunyumba kusia bana na njala tibasi achabena ma neighbors kubwera kuno futi kuno tibonka na njala so chamune tifuna ni nchito chabba tingene se ko tabe nchito.
Remains of another Chinese national burnt in a warehouse has been retrieved. Police in Lusaka say they have retrieved another body of a Chinese national who was burnt in a warehouse in Makeni, bringing the total number of recovered bodies to 3. Police spokesperson Esther Mwatakatongo said the body was found in a burnt state. Among the victims were 1 female adult and 2 male adults. The bodies are in UTH mortuary and investigations have continued. Katongo said, adding that 2 suspects in connection with the alleged murder have so far been arrested. In international news, as countries resume opening of schools in the new normal, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has said he will not allow students to go back to school until a coronavirus vaccine is found. During a televised address, President Duterte said that without a vaccine, sending children to school spells disaster. According to the Department of Health, Philippines has 14,319 confirmed COVID cases with 873 deaths recorded so far. Meanwhile, experts say the world is likely to have a second and even third COVID wave if no vaccine is found. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has suspended the use of doxophene as a possible vaccine for COVID due to bad side effects. For another international news, we monitored Al Jazeera.
Health Organization has suspended a clinical trial of the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine as a COVID-19 treatment. It cited safety concerns. US President Donald Trump said recently he was taking the drug but has since stopped. The WHO and health authorities around the world have warned of the drug's potentially dangerous side effects. There's also no definitive proof that it is effective against the coronavirus.
The executive group has implemented a temporary pause of the hydroxychloroquine arm within the Solidarity trial while the safety data is reviewed by the Data Safety Monitoring Board. The other arms of the trial are continuing.
Thank you so much for watching our main news. But before we go, we take a look at some of the top stories that made headlines once again. SEC probes Honorable Dr. Chitalu Chilufya. Keep your pedestrian opinions, Dora tells Sichinga. PF youth detects to UPND. CSO Sun on Bemon's hunger situations. Don't open schools until vaccine is found. We'll leave you with our Bible scripture for today, which is Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Camnet Television, not just another channel.